Okay, in the game this past weekend, we had the same issue with turnovers that we had the week prior, unfortunately, and that ultimately led to our demise. There were a lot of positives to build on, however. I mean, I thought we did some very good things. The rush defense was exceptional. In fact, we were up 14-13 with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. And unfortunately, 3 successive turnovers result in 3 successive touchdowns, which gets the game to 35-14 in a big hurry, and then it was out of reach at that point. So, but like I said, the defense played well versus the run. We let some things go in the throw game. We gave up a little bit too much there, but that's a good quarterback, and he's got a good core of receivers to throw to. So they're going to get some yards in the throw game, but still we need to tighten some things up defensively. Offensively, I thought we did some good things as well. John White ran hard. I thought John Hayes showed some promise and did some very good things for his first outing. And so I think there's things to build on, and just got to continue working. And again, the primary issue right now is just taking better care of the football. And once we get that issue resolved, then I think we're going to end up being a pretty good football team. But time will tell. As far as this game coming up, traveling to Pitt, third. Since I've been at Utah, is our third encounter with Pitt Panthers. We had them in the January 05 Fiesta Bowl, and then we had them, of course, last year as our opener. It was an overtime game, a great ball game. That's the game where Blecken intercepted the ball in overtime, and we were able to get the victory there. So going back to their place, they've got an outstanding tailback. In fact, maybe the best in the country right now, as far as a pure tailback. He's Ray Graham. He's second in the country in yards per game, only to Michael James at Oregon. He's first in the country in total yards gained rushing, and he is a great back. And as we were looking at him last year, we're preparing, and they had the Lewis kid, who's a very good back as well. But I'm looking at the next guy, who is Graham, and I'm thinking, why, this guy is really good. And so, anyways, it's a challenge for us. He's getting about 150 a week on the ground. He's also their leading pass receiver. So he's doing a lot of good things for Pittsburgh. They're big up front on offense. They're big, tall kids, 6'5", 6'6", 6'6", 6'7", and 6'6", I believe, is what they are up front, and all of them over 300 pounds. So they got good size. Receivers have good size, 6'5" and 6'4". The Shanahan kid's a big kid, and then his partner that plays next to him is a big kid as well. So they got weapons on offense. Defense, some 3-man front, some 4-man front. They mix it up pretty good. Four deep secondary, a lot of quarters coverage, mixed in with some zone pressure, some 3 under 3 deep zone pressure. But it'll be a good challenge for us. They're coming off a tough loss against Rutgers. They looked exceptionally good against South Florida a few weeks before that in a rout at their place in Pittsburgh to then rank 16th South Florida. So they looked very good in that football game. Played well against Notre Dame. Close game, I think it was 15-12. And so they're a good football team. There's no question about it. And it should be a great game. Questions?
When you look at this Pittsburgh team, different coaching staff than a year ago, what are they trying to do? Graham was a kind of an offensive guy, put up a lot of points and yards at Tulsa. Are they implementing what he wants to do yet, or is they still in kind of a transition mode?
No, I think they're implementing what he wants to do. They're spread. There are a lot of 10 and 11 personnel, which is 3 and 4 wide personnel, which is what he did so well at Tulsa. And plus they got the great back. But I think he's got his offense installed. Now it's going to take, I'm sure a couple years for him to recruit all the exact type of players he wants. But they're doing a nice job with the guys they got. They're doing a good job with their personnel and putting them in the right spots.
You moved Blecken around on Saturday. Is that going to be the plan again?
It will be, and we're going to play him as per the scheme dictates, and you'll probably see him in both locations again this week, as with Trevor Riley. Those are our two kind of wild card players that, depending on the scheme, will determine. I'm talking about the offensive scheme we're facing. Will determine where we plug them in, and you're going to see that go on probably the rest of the season with those two guys.
With Henderson out for the year, are you going to reopen the punt return game, or are you pleased with what Griff gives you?
Well, Griff is doing a nice job, and the number one order of business in punt returning is to catch the football. And Griff does a great job of that. He's very sure-handed, but we certainly have to start looking at alternatives as well in case something happens to Griff.
The last 2 games for Pitt has been, I think, like a 20-point win and a 22-point loss or whatever. Can you draw anything from that?
Well, just that they played very well against South Florida. I had a chance to watch that one on TV, and at that time I'm thinking, wow, because they looked exceptional, and that's what they're capable of. I mean, that's they're potentially a very good team. They're 3-3 right now, and have dropped a couple of close ones. And then, of course, at Rutgers it was not such a good outing. And again, they had the issue with turnovers, but they're a very good football team, and we've got to, just like every single week the rest of the way, we got to bring our A game.
In regards to the 2 losses, is there any sense that Utah is in over their head in this, or
Nope.
is it more about turnovers?
No sense of being in over our head. Like I said, we were up 14-13 with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, which means we're standing toe-to-toe with people and doing some good things. Do we need to keep recruiting and continue to improve our roster? Absolutely, everybody does. That's something that has to happen and will happen. And already has happened. Since the announcement was made, we've been able to, get in on upper echelon players. And so I'm not saying that we have everything solved, but I think that it's apparent that we can play with these guys in this league. We got to play smarter. We got to possess the football. That is the most important thing anybody can do at any level, is possess the football, and that's what we got to do.